Hello guys, this is Brian Tubbs coming at you with another video. Today I'm working on a returned piece, but it's not returned for any issues with the piece itself. When I made this piece, this is the flags piece. I'll put a picture up of it. This was I think probably the original flags sculpture that we made, and I made the pole and the upper flags out of stainless steel, and I made the base out of just mild steel. And my goal was to get the base to rust or patina, as they call it, so it would have the brown rust look, and then the pole would be stainless and the flags would be stainless, kind of like it's coming up out of the ground. So when I first made the piece, I set it outside on the apron, and one of our neighbors around the corner walked by and saw it and said she wanted it. So I said, okay, that's fine. So she and my wife, they negotiated the price and all that kind of stuff. And so I didn't think to tell her that the base was going to, to rust. I just didn't think about it because I wasn't planning on selling it that fast. I was just setting it outside to let it patina. So when the show season came up, the art season, I could have it ready to go. So after about probably 6 months, maybe 7 months, it started to, patina really nicely. So I thought. But then she walks, around here all the time. So she came by and said that the base is starting to rust, and she liked, the shiny look. She thought it was going to remain shiny. And so I told her no, that the base was designed like that to patina, but she didn't like it. So she wanted, the base to be shiny like the rest of the sculpture. So I said, okay, that's fine. I mean, she's really nice lady and really nice husband. We see them all out here all the time. And so I figured, since they, paid the amount of money they paid for the sculpture, I'll go ahead and, get it, shiny again. So I went, picked it up, brought it back here, took my one of my grinding pads and just did my usual grinding pattern and took all this surface, rust off, and then I sprayed it with some Everguard. That's a clear coat by Sculpt Nouveau, and it's designed to, keep the weather out, for the most part. It's not designed for really rainy areas, but we don't get that much rain here, so I figured it'd be okay. So I did the grinding technique, and then I clear coated it. I let it sit up for about 3 or 4 days. Took it back. They set it, we set it back in there in a position that it was in, and she loved it. The husband, he didn't care either way. He didn't mind if the base was, the patina, the rust patina, or if it was, the shiny. He didn't care. He just liked the sculpture itself. And so that lasted about 8 months or so. And then she came back and said that's rusting again. So I went over and got the sculpture again, brought it back here, did the same thing, with the grinder, putting the marks in and getting the surface rust off and whatnot. And then I had some Everclear by Sculpt Nouveau. It's designed to last for 20 years, 30 years, whatever the case is. And so after I grinded it, got out the marks and whatnot, got the rust off of it, I sprayed it with the Everclear. And So that lasted about a year and a half. But someone was using a lawn edger and just hit the side of the base. And I'm talking about these bases right here. This is the base that was on it. As you can see, there's a hole in it because I cut the pole out, cut the flag's pole and the flags out of it. But along the top, still looks kind of shiny, but there's some rust spots on it. But all along the edges, it's just rust. And so I used the Everclear. That lasted about a year and a half. And someone with the edger hit one of the sides and kind of chipped the clear coat. And so that allowed moisture to start getting inside, and it started rusting again. And so they came by a few days ago. They were driving through here, and they stopped, and we were just talking, chit-chatting. Then she just asked if I could do something with the sculpture again because it's starting to rust again. So I said, okay. Because going back just a little bit, when it happened the second time, before I put the Everclear on here, I was going to cut the piece out of this base and just make a stainless steel base. But my wife was saying, let's not do that. Let's just grind it down and clear coat it again. That'll last a while. Maybe it'll last 5 or 6 years or whatever. But in my mind, I was already figuring out a way to cut it out of the base so I can build a stainless steel base. So this is a mild steel base, the original one. This is a stainless steel base that I made for it, that I'm going to put those flags on so that I won't have to go back every year and a half, every year and a half, redoing this sculpture. She didn't pay that much for it. It's not worth that much of my time. So this is 3/16 grade stainless steel. It's 1/4 inch thick. So this is military grade stainless steel. And then along the sides is 304, and this is 3/8 thick stainless steel. So I welded it up with 3/16 stainless rod. Put my grind marks and whatnot in it. I'm going to have to mount the sculpture on it, and then I'll, passivate it and everything else that I do with it. And with the original one, I drilled holes through it so it could be mounted. But they never mounted it, because of where it's located. The wind won't blow it over. It's been sitting there since October of 2021 in the same spot. So it's been sitting there for 5 years, and it's never blown over or anything like that. So I figured to make it look better, I wouldn't put any holes in it. I would just keep it, just solid like this. And if they decide they want holes, bored in it, I either bore holes or I can make my little tabs that I normally make. So either one. But just to make it look cleaner, I didn't put holes in it. And so the way I got the upper portion out of the base, is I just took my plasma cutter and just put it really close to the upright pole and just came all the way around it and took the pole away. What I did not want to do is get the plasma cutter on the pole, because it would damage, the pole when we have designs on the pole and all that kind of stuff. So I just want to go around it as clean as possible just to get the pole out. I didn't care about the shape of the hole, because I'm going to use this base again for a totally different piece. What I'm going to do before we sell the piece is take all this clear off and let it patina. So when I make the piece, whether it's stainless steel or whatever the other piece is going to be, when I sell this piece, this is going to already be rusted. I won't have it shiny like this, because after a year, 6 months, they'll be coming back saying the thing rusted. and some people will want their money back, but most people just want it fixed. So this is one, and they also had, I'm gonna put a picture up of it right here. I had this piece come back this week because they got some high winds, and the number 5 flag that's on it, which comes off the top base and goes up, that came loose from all the back and forth, motion from the wind. And so what I did with that one was I re-welded, all of the flags, because on those flags, when I first started, I would weld in one position. So when I got it back, I welded the opposite side of that position that was already welded, and then with the piece that came off, I welded it front and back, both bottom and top, so it would never come loose again. And then I went through and I just cleaned everything, because I made that piece back in 2021 as well. They had a well head that stuck up out of the ground in the backyard, and they wanted something to cover it. So I made that octagon or hexagon shape for it, and so it came back. So it's been there for 5 years as well. So that came back just a couple of days ago. So I got it back, just made a couple repairs to it. I made it better than new when she first got it. And so, of course, she paid me for it. She was really happy and whatnot, so I took care of that. And so with this piece, they asked me if I could, just get the little rust off of it. But they didn't care when I did it. I could have went by there, 6 months from now. They didn't care. They just wanted it just to see if I could help them out. And of course, they said they would pay me for it, but no big deal. But with me, when I get pieces back, I like to take care of them right away and get them back to the customer. I don't like having stuff on my mind. I have to get to this piece at some point. Blah 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 blah. I want to get it done, get it back to them, and move on to the next thing. I need my mind, be free and clear when I'm thinking of new pieces. So what I did, again, I just took my plasma cutter, cut the pole out, cut around it, and this is the pole. You can see like the top of the pole here. So I'm gonna move the camera just so you guys can see what I did with this pole. Okay, guys, so if you can see this, what I use is one of these rings. It's a clamp, and it has the perforated or the little lines in it. When you screw this bolt head, it tightens up around pipes and whatnot. So I put one of these on here, clamped it down tight, which makes this straight. It's it's straight. So then I'm taking my cutoff wheel, and I'm going right down in that little seam there, and I'm going to cut this. I'm cutting this off, this whole piece here. And so after I get this off, I'll take this off and just grind it down there just a little bit, clean it up. Then I can just take this, set it right onto the new base, and just TIG weld it up again, because of course this was TIG welded all the way around. So I'm really only taking, if I look at it from here down, I'm taking about 1/8 of an inch off of here. So when I take this piece off, this is a portion. This is a part of the old base. So when I take this off of here, I will only have removed about 1/8 of an inch from this pole. So when I set it back on there and we set it back in place, they won't notice a difference as far as height and whatnot. And so I figured that's the best way, to get this thing off of here. So when it was on the base, I did not take my plasma cutter and point it toward the pole and cut around this way. I had my plasma cutter against the pole, pointing with the torch portion pointing down, or the flame portion pointing down, and I just dragged it all the way around the pole, cut all the material away, and I was able to just lift this pole out of the old base. And so now, like I said, I'll just go around with my cutoff wheel. Show you the cutoff wheel. So I just go right around it with my cutoff wheel right in that seam, right on the other side of this this clamp. So it'll be lined up just like that, going right around the pole. This will keep my cutoff wheel in position and won't allow me to, you know, be moving back and forth. And then once I'm finished, if I don't use something like this, my pole will be, you know, oddly shaped or on an angle. And when I put it on the base, it'll be leaning to one side. So if you guys ever want to make a straight cut, you can use a clamp like this around the pole. And you just take your cutoff wheel and just follow that all the way around. Just rotate the pole or whatever you're doing and just cut it. And once you get this portion off, you take this clamp off and you just, you know, grind it up, shape it up a little bit, and it'll be, you know, as good as new. And just giving you guys this, you know, just a view of the flags. This is the piece that's in the picture, and I just have the flags kind of hanging over on this little horse. And once I get that bottom portion cut off, I'll just, like I said, grind it, set it up on the base, tack it up, and just weld it back on. All right, guys, well, that's going to do it for this video. It's a quick video. I just wanted to let you guys know that it doesn't always, you know, go perfectly. I mean, although, again, there's nothing wrong with the piece. She didn't like the patina, and I didn't like having to go back over there and, you know, redoing this thing every year and a half or every 8 months or whatever the heck it was. So, and of course they're going to pay me for it. But, you know, it doesn't always go perfectly. Sometimes these little things happen, and it's, I mean, I just do it as a courtesy. And the times that I was, you know, cleaning the rust off of this piece, I didn't charge them anything for doing this piece, you know, and it would rust. I would just bring it back here, you know, to the shop, clean it up, spray it, take it back. But every time I would go past it, I would look at the sculpture, and I would walk up to it sometime, and I can start seeing small little rust spots starting to happen. I said, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to clean this thing again. So this time I said, no more. That's it. So sometimes, guys, you just have to just learn how to just say enough is enough and go ahead and change it. And I'm glad this wasn't, you know, like some large sculpture where I would have to really do a lot of cutting to get, you know, change up something like this. With it being just a pole, that's not a big deal. Well, all right, guys, I'm gonna see you on the next one, and maybe I'll be welding this thing up or something. I'm not exactly sure, but as usual, I'll be doing something. And like I said, I hope to see you on the next one. And as usual, peace out.